Welcome back to Black Talk TV, here where you're going to get the realest, uncut, real talk about black conversations, black topics, anything black, we in it. You understand me? Let's spin the block.
Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, shit. I forgot. We forgot about Vlad. I ain't forgot. Thank you for that photo. Because I want people to see this photo. Let me tell you a little story about what happened between me and Vlad. I got some time. Because I want y'all to go straight over to TashaKLive.com tonight, okay? There was an episode that I did on Vlad I remember, it was the Halloween that I dressed as Lil Boosie. And I spoke about Vlad, and it was kind of like in passing and in conversation. And right after my Cardi B verdict, right, he hit me, even though I had did the video months prior, with a sort of like a verbal cease and desist. You need to remove a video because you defamed me. I said, oh, look at him. You defamed? Okay, how? So, during the video in question that I'm speaking about, it had to do with me talking about being in the position that I'm in and doing a lot of these stories on celebrities who necessarily break the law, like R. Kelly. There's been plenty of other stories, okay? And so what happens is when we do these stories as bloggers, as journalists, as personalities, or whatever, a lot of times, a lot of the information that we get is factual, even though we're not there and we're reporting third-party information because we necessarily weren't in the room, but we have enough to substantiate and go forward with the story, okay, based on our findings. A lot of times the feds or state police, they end up contacting us asking for footage, asking for the receipts, evidence, okay, so that they can prove a case.
Fair use.
Right? Sometimes I've been cooperative, sometimes I haven't. It depends on how bad you've been out here up in our community, right? Depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I may tell the lawyers, get me out of it. So I'm not a fed and they not paying me to be a fed or a police officer. I am a personality, period. I'm not a journalist, I'm a personality, okay? This is how I personally feel about said subjects, right? So, and my feelings happen to be a lot strong. So, I gave an example and I said, and with all of the men, black men that have been charged after being on his platform, I said, there's probably a possibility, okay, in my opinion, that he's cooperating with said federal agents, right? I said, of course I can't prove it, but being someone who doesn't interview gang members and Crips Bloods and people who have been in the music industry that have been tied to these murders and things like that. But I'm just like, he has a whole damn platform on murders and murders and more murders and more murders and beef and just kind of just everything involving a lot of this BS, this nonsense that's going on social media. A rapper just died. BTS Savage after appearing on his platform, right?
It's coming, y'all.
And so I said, I got a feeling that I feel that he's been contacted by the feds and he's had to give over footage, right? And so this was my opinion. And he came right after, even though he knew I made that video months prior. But right after that verdict came in, he was like, yeah, you defamed me. I said, you know what? I talked to my attorneys. I said, you know what? I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it down, right? Because he's you. He's you. I know my position. I'm not stupid. He got Jew lawyers. I'm not crazy. So I took it down. So I said, okay, I'm going to do you this one. But in my opinion, I can't prove it, but it's not uncommon. He was like, I ain't never, ever gave no feds no footage. Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you make sure them questions are so leading and so very specific, and you ensure that you lead your entire interview based on an incident and not as a whole. So you have to understand, a lot of times when we do interviews, I love to do interviews on.
All right, we spun the block. We gonna wrap around and we're gonna spin again. Let me just replay that part, that teeny part, one more time.
I got a feeling that I feel that feel that strong. So I gave an example and I said if a verbal cease and desist, you need to remove a video because you defamed me. I said, oh, look at him. You defamed? Okay, how? So during the video in question that I'm speaking about, it had to do with me talking about being in the position that I'm in and doing a lot of these stories on celebrities who necessarily. And so this was my opinion. And he came right after, even though he knew I made that video months prior, but right after, they end up contacting us asking for footage, asking for the receipts, evidence, okay, so that they can prove a case, right? Sometimes I've been cooperative, sometimes I haven't. It depends. Federal agents, right? I said, of course I can't prove it, but being someone who doesn't interview gang members and Crips, Bloods, and people who have been in the music industry that have been tied to these murders and things like that. Like, but I'm just like, he has a whole damn platform on.
Hold on, I'm trying to go to
that
right to that part.
Break the law, like R. Kelly. There's been plenty of other stories, okay? And so what happens is when we do these stories as bloggers, as journalists, as personalities, or whatever, a lot of times, a lot of the information that we get is factual, even though we're not there and we're reporting third-party information because we necessarily weren't in the room, but we have enough to substantiate and go forward with the story, okay, based on our findings. A lot of times the feds or state police, they end up contacting us asking for footage, asking for the receipts, evidence, okay, so that they can prove a case, right? Sometimes I've been cooperative, sometimes I haven't. It depends on how bad you've been out here up in our community, right? Depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I may tell the lawyers, get me out of it. So I'm not a fed and they're not paying me to be a fed or a police officer. I am a personality. Period. I'm not a journalist. I'm a personality. Okay? This is how I personally feel about said subjects, right? So, and my feelings happen to be a lot strong. So I gave an example and I said, and with all of the men, Black men that have been charged after being on his platform, I said, there's probably a possibility, okay, in my opinion, that he's cooperating with said federal agents, right? I said, of course I can't prove it, but being someone who doesn't interview gang members and Crips, Bloods, and people who have been in the music industry that have been tied to these murders and things like that. Like, but I'm just like, but he has a whole damn platform on murders and more murders and more murders and beef and just kind of just everything involving a lot of this BS, this nonsense that's going on social media. A rapper just died, BTS Savage, after appearing on his platform, right? And so I said, I got a feeling that I feel that he's been contacted by the feds and he's had to give over footage, right? And so this was my opinion. And he came right after, even though he knew I made that video months prior, but right after that verdict came in, he was like, yeah, you defamed me. I said, you know what? I talked to my attorneys. I said, you know what? I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it down, right? Because he's you. He's you. I know my position. I'm not stupid.
All right, now, before I get into why I have a problem with this and what she just said, let me say first that I have immense respect for Tasha K. I am a subscriber. I watch pretty much all of her content. She's very entertaining. She's a Black woman, foundational Black American Black woman at that, who's rose through the ranks and pretty much catapulted herself to the very top. She's dethroned Wendy Williams, even though on Tasha K's rise to the top, Wendy Williams was pretty much declining due to her mental state, drug abuse, what's going on with her personal life, what have you. So let me just get that out the way first. We all know as Black people being content creators on YouTube, it's harder for us to rise through the ranks than it is our white counterparts. We know a lot of our white counterparts, YouTube creators, they get, pushed to the top artificially by the people who work at YouTube. I'm pretty much my content. The people who I'm subscribed to, who I listen to on a daily basis, are all Black people, no white people at all. But yet, some way, somehow, I still get white content creators pushed to me on my page once I log in and go to youtube.com, the main page. I get few white content creators here, few white content creators there. When I'm like, why they keep popping up? I don't subscribe to these folks. I never check for them or anything like that. Jason Black has also proven that YouTube is not really the algorithm. The algorithm is the people that work at YouTube who push said personnel, said people to the top. They can artificially inflate anybody who they want to, but of course they're going to choose to inflate and push their very own people to the top. So with that being said, I have immense respect for Tasha K. However, the reason why I have an issue with this is because Tasha K has said plenty of times, plenty of times that she will never ever remove a video that she's put up. She would not be bullied into taking a video down. When she had that little altercation or beef with Cardi B, Cardi B approached her from woman to woman before she filed that lawsuit in the defamation case that she just wanted her to take the video down, and nothing, no other repercussions were come of this. Tasha K adamantly refused, said that, told her that she's not taking nothing down, everything's going to stay up, along with a few other Black quote unquote celebrities, which in my mind they're not really they're not really celebrities. It's people from like Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop, those pretty much those Black drama shows that pretty much just, it's all trash. It's just all women just bickering, arguing, grown women bickering, arguing and fighting, which I don't understand why. I mean, I guess it's entertainment. People they like to get that type of stuff, but that's not the type of stuff that I watch or dwell in or anything like that. But if you're a Tasha K subscriber and you've watched a lot of her content, then you know as well that she said plenty of times that she would never take any content down that she puts up, and she would never be bullied into taking any type of content down. The only way that she will remove and take down some content is through a court order. She has said this numerous of times. Oh, but when a white man contacts you, to take the video down, you immediately remove it. No pushback, no lip, no. He didn't deserve the same venom spewed towards him that you spewed to all the other mainly Black women of of melanin descent. However, but yet Vlad, who is a Jewish man, she's went ahead and obliged his wishes and taken down his content. Now, I mean, I'm going to kind of tread lightly on this because being that she just lost the defamation case against Cardi B, filed an appeal and lost that too. So now she definitely has to pay that $4 million to Cardi B. This may be, a smart financial decision that she's made, took it upon herself to make, because of course she may not want to, go back to court and lose any more millions of dollars. Shit, I wouldn't want to either. But one thing I do know is I would I will always stand on what I believe in. And this, it's kind of hard, man. It's like I'm on the fence with this one because just me personally, when it comes to white people, I would rather take, if I was her, all right, I'm not gonna say if I was in her shoes, me being me, let's say if I was to take the same stance as her, saying that I would never be bullied to taking down any content, anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I could, one could say that, but I would be more prone to take down content if I feel like I defamed or I told flat out lies in regards to my fellow Black people who who she may have talked about on her page and everything like that. I would be more sensitive and lenient into taking down that content versus taking down content when I'm speaking about these culture vultures, these white people, these quote unquote anti-black racists. I would have pushed back and I would have fought for that only because I'm just a Black man and I would never let a white man tell me what to do. Anybody white, female, white, male. There's no way I'm gonna have a white person bully me into doing what they want to do simply because it's just how it looks, the optics of the nature, how I feel, past history of racism and our ancestors being slaves. You're not going to bully me and taking down anything just simply because you're white and what the history entails with that. But yeah, a white man approaches you and you take down that content quick. You stated that you talked to your attorney, and I guess you didn't elaborate, but I guess your attorney advised you to go ahead and take down the content. This could be another lawsuit, and you can possibly lose, and which she probably would have lost. I mean, because she doesn't have any proof that DJ Vlad has talked to the feds or is cooperating with the feds. But also, you didn't have any proof that Cardi B had herpes when or Cardi B, allegedly you were insinuated that Cardi B had herpes and that you had some type of receipts from her ex-friend that she used to roommate with, anything like that. That's still hearsay. That's not proof enough. You know what I'm saying? That's still hearsay. The only proof you can get of things like that is if you have their actual medical records in hand stating that Cardi B has herpes. And that's impossible to get due to the HIPAA laws. There's no way you can get that information, those medical records, because of the HIPAA laws. There's not a doctor in the world, well, not a doctor in the USA that will violate a HIPAA law because they can lose their license and practice and would never be able to practice medicine and being a doctor ever again. So you didn't have proof on Cardi B. So you pretty much did defame her. And that was, to me, that was common sense. I don't know why you didn't, take it upon yourself to remove that content when she came to you and asked you politely to remove it. Because you didn't have proof. All you had was a hearsay, her friend saying that, and we come to find out that it was a total lie. Just as you don't have proof that Vlad is cooperating with the federal agents. So that in a nutshell, in a sense, is defaming him. The only way that you can get proof for the Cardi B issue that she had herpes is if you had her on tape. If someone had actually audio record or video, hidden video recording her saying this out of her mouth that she, had herpes or what have you. The only way you can have proof of Vlad talking or cooperating with feds is if he said himself that he's been cooperating with federal agents, giving them information when they come to him about said people that's been appearing on his platform. So it's like you didn't take down the content when Cardi B came to you and what other Black low rated celebrities came to you to actually take down the content. But lo and behold, when this white man comes to you and all he had to do was ask once, you immediately took down the content, quote unquote, defaming him. like I said, I'm going to be light. I'm going to be lenient because I respect Tasha K and what she's built and everything like that. Being a black woman in America, we know how hard it is to get the bag. We're always scrutinized, and we always have a fine microscope that's heavily placed on us and is stayed upon us on a daily basis. But it's just, to me, in my opinion, it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say looks bad, but it just it rubbed me the wrong way because it just looks as, yet again, the black woman bowing down to white daddy. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now, I wouldn't even be making this video had she just said, uh, he came to me, asked me to take down the video because I defamed him. And after I went back over the video that I posted, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. I kind of defamed him. I don't have proof that he's cooperating with the federal agents. But she went on to say that he's a Jew. I know my role. I know my place. I'm going to take it down. That's what I have a problem with. You know your role. You know your place. It's damn, Tasha, why do you have to say that? Because it's like you bowing down and kissing the feet of white supremacy and white daddy. And how that looks to me, to us black people, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I can't really speak for all black people on this. Before I continue, like, comment, and subscribe, because no one else is covering this right now. Everyone else is covering the Caitlyn, whatever the hell that white basketball player name versus the black female from LSU in regards to bad sportsmanship and Reese pretty much throwing her hand in her face like Caitlyn was doing. Everybody's covering that. Everybody's covering the Donald Trump indictment. I don't really like to jump on bandwagons and cover what everyone else is covering. I like to try to go through information, try to pick out something that's going to be very interesting, entertainment-wise, and pretty much that either little that hardly anybody is covering or nobody's covering it at all. And from what I've seen, nobody's touching on this. Maybe they didn't catch it, but however, I did. Or maybe they don't think this is a big issue. And it's not really a big issue. It's just that part just rubs me the wrong way. Why? Because I'm a foundational Black American. My ancestors were slaves. And we know how it is when you're living in America, built on racism and white supremacy. Well, built on anti-Black racism, should I say, because all other ethnic groups don't get this treatment, this racial treatment as much and as in-depth as we do. But it just looks like the optics to me is just bad, and it just rubs a bad taste in my mouth. And it should in most Black people's mouths, especially if you're a foundation of Black American, because she's showing that pretty much in a nutshell, fuck you niggas. I'm going to post what I want to post about y'all, whether I'm lying or not, whether the information that I get from my sources may be truthful or not. I'm going to talk about y'all all day and every day because y'all really ain't got no clout. Y'all really ain't got no power. So you're going to have to take me to court if you want me to take that shit down. But when it comes to Vlad, oh, she took it down right away. It's just pretty much, like she said, yes, daddy. Let me, hold on. Anybody got some knee pads? Let me get on my knees real quick. Let me kiss those feet. Anything you say, baby, I'm going to take it down. I don't want no smoke. I don't want them problems. Man, fuck that. Take me to court. That's one bag. That's one bag I would just have to sacrifice and take me to court just because I'm going to fight for what I stand on, because everything that she says or that she's posted, she stands on, and not only does she stand on, she usually comes back and double downs on everything that she states when she posts her content. But when it came to Vlad, Mr. White Supremacist, you just bowed down quickly. You didn't give it any thought. You know what I'm saying? You didn't put up any type of fight, any grief, any grudge. You just went ahead and took it down. She said she didn't want them problems. She don't want to lose another bag. And I mean, I halfway understand it. You already lost $4 million, so I understand that. But it's just very bad taste because us as Black people, especially living in America, we're already at the pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole anyway, in regards to uh, having some type of power, whether it's politically, socially, or financially. And she just made it further look like, that she's pretty much submissive. She submitted to this white man, just like most I ain't gonna say most, lots of Black women do when they get in front of a white man, or where they come against a white man. For instance, like when a Black woman who divests and dates white men, say a white man can make $42,000 a year. Say a Black man makes the same as that white man is making, $42,000 a year. We've seen time and time again that even though that white male and that Black male is making $42,000 a year, the Black woman will treat the white male who's making exactly the same as that Black man. She will treat him with more respect than she would with the Black man who's making just the same amount of money. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they do it. Maybe it's that mammy complex. Maybe it's they've been brainwashed and by the media of what they see on TV in regards to all these movies and shows that pretty much brainwashes us to that only time that Black people can be on a TV screen or on a movie screen is if they're submitting to white people, letting the white man lead, and whatever it is. It's always the Black man. It's the helping hand. It's just the helper. He's the sidekick, and they're always submitting and letting that white person lead in regards to whatever that issue is. That's why I have the issue. Maybe because I'm just so pro-Black that I don't kneel or bow down to any white man, anybody who's white. Can't no white man tell me what the fuck to do. If anything, especially in public, if anything, I'm going to force my will on you and make you kind of bow down to me. For instance, like, how you walking in a store, let's just say I'm walking to Walmart, walking down the main aisle the main road, the main walkway before I turn into an aisle. When people, you walk in and people coming your way as you walking towards them. Anytime I see, how you want to be, what's the word? Hospitable, nice, courteous, and to, like, I guess walking around people so you don't, bump into them and everything like that. When I see white people coming my way, especially white men, I don't walk around. I walk through. I'm gonna walk straight. I'm not diverting my I'm not diverting my walk. I'm not gonna walk left. I'm not gonna walk right for me not to bump into you like that. I'm gonna force you to walk around me simply because I'm just pro-Black like that. There's nothing. My stance, my mentality, and everything like that. I'm never ever going to submit to a white man ever. And like I was just saying, when I'm walking down the pathway in Walmart or any store, when I see white people, especially a white man who's coming towards my way, especially how I carry myself with the demeanor I do and the attitude I do, I give off a certain type of energy that lets them know offhand I'm not the nigga to be fucked with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they know, they sense it when they see you. And they look at you in your eyes for a split second because they're looking in my eyes, and my eyes shows that I'm not afraid. I will fuck you up if shit has to go down. They'll look at me in my eyes for a split second, or they won't even try to look at me, but they'll see me and they'll just they'll divert and go a different direction rather than coming into contact with me. They don't want to get in close proximity because the energy that I give off says I'm not the one. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not the one. And there's been a few instances where I had a couple white people there where I guess they felt the same way. Where I'm not going to walk around. And we actually bumped into each other. And those I remember on 2 occasions that's happened to me. So I'm not walking around. I'm walking directly straight, and I want to make you walk around me. But on 2 occasions, there are 2 white men. I guess they must have felt the same way, and they actually bumped into me. So when that happened on both occasions, when I bumped into them, they bumped into me, I stopped immediately, and I looked dead at them in their eyes with my eyes squinting, like I'm mean, I'm mad. What's up? Let's get it popping. And both times that that's happened, they apologize. Let me say it again. On both occasions that I remember, they apologized. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to hit you. I didn't mean to bump into you. I'm sorry. Even though they probably meant it before they bumped into me, because they had an attitude like, I'm not gonna walk around. But once I stopped, looked at them in the eyes, buff up like we can get this shit cracking right here, right now, they apologize. Because I'm not the one. Because I'm ready to, as all this shit that's going on in the world today, it's like I'm all this anti-black racism that's going on in the world today is like I'm ready to bust a white person ass. It's like, give me a reason to fucking fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Give me a reason to drag your ass, as black women say. I will mop your ass up. I will mop the floor of this whole goddamn store with your motherfucking ass. That's just where I'm at with mine. I don't submit to nail white person. Never. And that's just where I'm at with mine. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we don't have no power, no political power, no social power, and our financial power is pretty much little to nothing in this country. But at least I can control what I do, and which will affect the surroundings around me. And I make these white motherfuckers pretty much, I'm not gonna really say bow down, but I make them, think twice. I'm not the one. This ain't TV. This ain't YouTube. You can get your issue real quick right here, right now. What's up? What's popping? And they will always apologize. They don't want the problems. When they come across a real masculine black man who they can feel the energy. Oh yeah, I may not want to mess with him. May not want to mess with this one. I don't think it's gonna go kind of in my favor. How it's gonna go? You damn right, because I'm not the fucking one to be fucked with. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that. I'm not gonna make this video too drawn out. I still respect Tasha K, but I just had to point that out. That video has got I think I can't remember how many views, but it's got close to. I think when I looked at it was about like 60,000 views. So by now, and that was this morning. So by now, enough people have seen it to where I don't think anybody's caught it, because I'm the only one who's speaking on this. And maybe they don't, like I said, maybe they don't think that's a big deal towards them. But I caught it, and like I said, me being so pro black and so on code, that's what out of that whole video she did talking about the 6, 7 people that she talked about, that was the only thing that stood out to me that made me raise my eyebrow like, huh? What? Hold on. What the fuck did I just say? Did I just hear that correctly? After you didn't so adamantly told everybody in the past, you had lots of people call you up, threaten you to take down the content, and you never took it down because I guess you feel like, I don't know, you're above them. They ain't got no power. You ain't taking shit down because said it's going to stay. Like you said, she's personally said on numerous occasions, the only thing that can make her take down the video is a court order. But Vlad came hollering, take down this video. You took it down right away. That's pretty much the only thing I want to point out, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, I want to thank y'all for getting me 100 subscribers. I got like 118 subscribers. Trust me, I know they ain't shit. I know ain't nothing to gloat about, but I'm new to this. I'm trying to build my platform. So please like, subscribe. If you like what you heard today, but you're probably not going to hear nowhere else, like and subscribe and comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Also, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm a big crypto investor. I got a lot of crypto and everything like that. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. So if y'all out there, people who are in crypto, or even people who's not in crypto, set up a crypto account, because once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away probably like random. I'm going to give away $100 to 3 people. I'm just going to randomly select 3 people, 3 subscribers, and just drop me your wallet address, and I'll send $100 worth of crypto, of your favorite crypto, into your wallet. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Like, subscribe. Don't like it, dislike it. Like I said before, I don't care. I'm a real nigga. I know I'm not liked by everybody. And oh, and one final thing. A few videos ago, when because I like, well, yeah, like last year, my name was Blacks Are Superior for my handle name. I ended up changing it because it was not coming up in the algorithm. When I typed in Blacks Are Superior, I thought that YouTube was hating on the word black and the word superior being together. So when I typed that in, I was not coming up in the search panel, nowhere. Then I changed my name to BlackTalkTv, and then I was coming up in the algorithm. Like you would type it in, and would, my profile name and picture would pop right up. But now it's not popping up anymore. Like I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it's like I don't want to believe that it's YouTube hating on me again. Cause I'm like, I'm just a little peon in this game. I don't have that many subscribers at all. I know I can't be watched, but it was popping up before. Now it's not popping up no more. I mean, is it because of the content or what I'm talking about in regards to anti-black racism and white supremacy? Talking against it, fighting against us, and everything like that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be so naive to think they're not burying my channel, but something indeed is going on, because when I had just 20, 30 subscribers, I was coming up on the search panel, but now I'm not coming up, and I don't have immense following at all. I only have 100 and something followers, but I'm no longer coming up. So it seems like they do want to bury black content creators. I want to get this channel popping. As like I said, I'm bringing out more content each and every day. And yeah, that's what it is. We out. Peace.